I'll have to kind of wait and see.
Tough call. Maybe you just have to play it a few times.
I know. Well, okay, now that
What's up, everybody? My name is David Jagno, and today I have a really cool video for you where I get to talk with a bunch of the voice cast from a game called Dispatch. This is a new game from AdHoc Studios, a studio that was founded by former developers from companies like Telltale Games and Ubisoft. It's a narrative-driven adventure game similar to the likes of Telltale's Walking Dead, where you get to make choices and affect the way that the story goes in branching dialogue and branching events where you have actual control and impact over the flow of the story. The game Dispatch is a superhero workplace comedy game. It's a very witty banter, very funny dialogue, and has a lot of great characters with an all-star voice cast. So today, in this video, I'm sharing with you a bunch of interviews that I got to conduct with many members of the voice cast, including Laura Bailey, Erin Yvette, Alanah Pearce, and many, many more for many of the characters across the game. So please enjoy watching these videos. First up, I'll show the one with Laura Bailey and Erin Yvette, where we talked about their characters Invisigal and Blonze Blazer.
So thank you very much, Laura and Erin, for taking the time to chat today. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. First, I will preface by saying, big fan of both of you, as I'm sure you both often hear. So I just want to let you know that. My wife and I played through Dispatch, the first 4 episodes together. She's not much of a gamer, so it was kind of, interesting that she was willing to be that invested and interested. And I think it's a testament to the way that the characters are written and performed, by you guys in such an authentic way. And I feel like the pacing of this game is very, very fast in terms of the dialogue and the relationships and the cutscenes. From your perspective, is that sort of authentic, grounded, conversational style writing, is that, does that allow you to inject more of your personality in the ways that you perform these characters and the way that it is paced in the game itself?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of games have a different style, and it affects how you approach the character in each of those sessions. And I know when I would have a dispatch session, I was always really looking forward to it because it was so grounded and so real with the deliveries of the lines and the way that we were able to perform it. And it felt, I felt very lucky to be recording the dialogue that we were. I mean, Pierre and Nick are an incredible duo, and having worked with them on previous projects at Telltale, I'm always blown away with the characters that they create and the way that they write. And they do comedy banter better than almost anybody else that I've worked with. And the depth of character that they create, it's a real joy to get to be a part of it.
Working with creators and directors who have a specific vision, know how to execute it, and yet are open to collaboration, and then working with excellent writing makes our job so much easier. So in that regard, like Laura was saying, we look forward to it. It's fun, it's playful, and we know we're in good hands. So it's really a joy to record.
Yeah, it's so fascinating because I feel like a lot of the characters that both of you have played have been rather fantastical in terms of games, anime, whatever it may be. But in a world like Dispatch, it is a very grounded, realistic world that just so happens to have superheroes in it. Mm-hmm. So does that sort of change your approach and relationship in the sense that the world is very much like the world we live in, just your character may not be?
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, the superhero aspect of it entered into my brain very little.
Yeah.
In the recording process. It was just the character interactions and how we were responding to everything around us, including, Robert's choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if anything, it's like the superpower, at least for Blazer, the only way I'm really thinking of it is having those superpowers kind of gives her a little bit extra confidence, right? Because she's confident she can handle certain situations in a way that maybe those without super strength or flight could. But with it, it also manifests for her in terms of celebrity, right? She's a well-known superhero. People have expectations of her and for her, and the weight that is for someone who maybe is seeking something a little bit more fulfilling. But yeah, it manifests in kind of just very real ways rather than trying to remember, like, yes, think about her biceps when you're delivering this line.
Yeah, it's such an excellent and difficult balance to strike where you want the world to feel like the player has agency and ability to impact it, but you also don't want it to seem like it exists purely for the player to interact with.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like, obviously I've only played half the game, but I feel like Dispatch does an incredible job so far of really nailing that balance. And from your perspective as performers, I feel like the industry is sort of in a process of almost contracting with the kind of games that are gaining popularity in terms of, open world live service games were the big thing for the last 5-10 years, but now it seems like more narrative focused games are really getting a lot more of the spotlight. And that puts a lot more I guess, attention on games like Dispatch, maybe. And I'm wondering, how do you view, the next 5 to 10 years of games? For people that have worked in games for a while now, how do you view the industry kind of adjusting what players are wanting?
Man, I feel like it's just such a tumultuous time for the industry in general. It's hard to know where anything is going to go. Like studios get shut down out of the blue, like
For successful,
yes,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. I can speak to it as a player myself, and I absolutely would love more narrative games. It's always been one of my favorite genres. I know that the episodic nature of this is really appealing to me because I want a reason to have to stop playing because I'm going to want to keep playing and I can't. And I know I'm not alone in folks who continue to love games as we take on more and more life responsibilities, but no longer have the same amount of time to dedicate to them. So in order to get such a fulfilling experience in a shorter amount of time, I think is quite a feat and something I would love to see more of. And this kind of, living vicariously through this choose your own adventure story and shaping your player character and the relationships around you. I live for this.
Yeah.
This is just so up my alley. So I would be really overjoyed to see a new generation of indie devs looking to explore this space.
Yeah, and this episodic release is so great because you get it's like your favorite TV show. You get to check in every single week and like it feels like these characters stay with you for a longer amount of time as opposed to just like a binge playthrough. I mean, like I've committed hundreds of hours to some games over
For
several
sure.
months. Yeah. But I very much look forward to affecting the storyline, which is not always something you get to do. Like oftentimes, you feel like the choices you're making, like, are they really changing anything? And here, it really affects how things go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a fun one to end on before we wrap is, Laura, for you, what do you think Abby's powers would be if she were an employee of SDN? And Erin, what would Snow White's powers be if she were an employee?
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
man.
My wife came up with that question, by the way.
That's a good
awesome.
question. I feel like Abby would be one of the super strength busted
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Maybe a professional golfer, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, the pain. How dare.
Yeah.
How dare. I was going to say a hammer. Let's move forward.
Snow White, I think, would be something either like mind reading or something that allowed her to kind of suss out the truth because she has real trust issues. And I think would desire and benefit a lot from being able to tell when someone's bullshitting her.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm a big fan of Dispatch. I really did enjoy those first 4 episodes. Part of the problem of being someone that reviews stuff, now having played through all of those, I have to wait several weeks now.
Yeah.
I don't get new stuff next week. It's going to be a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
Just keep
It'll all be
replaying
worth
and
it.
choose
Yeah,
different-
exactly.
Different choices.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to do that for sure. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat. I really did enjoy talking to both of you, and I look forward to seeing how things end up for Robert Robertson.
Us too.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
For this next segment, we got 3 people together at once: Travis Willingham, who voices Phenomaman, Joel Haver, who voices Waterboy, and Lance Cantstopolis, who voices Flambae. Now, the interesting thing about this room of interviews is that Lance's character, Flambae, he is actually doing the interview as Flambae. He is in character during this video, which will make it a little bit unique. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time that's what's going on here. But go ahead and enjoy.
Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I guess first question for you, Lance. I'm curious to know why you no longer wanted to be a supervillain. What happened?
Oh, why I didn't want to? Just a change of heart, something different. Just because you were one way doesn't mean you have to do it forever. Change of scenery.
Not the threat of jail time.
Nah. No.
Smell the roses rather than smell the flames,
Totally, yeah.
while still smelling the flames.
All of that.
Totally makes sense. And I guess on the flip side, Travis and Joel, I'm curious to know what drew you to this project and your characters in particular, and what really resonated with you.
I love video games. I've always loved branching path video games and like Telltale games and things like that. I'm a storyteller at heart, and I feel like branching path video games gives a little bit of that onus to the player to tell their own story and form their own narrative. And I think getting to be a part of one is like just a lifelong dream. To just picture myself in a cutscene, let alone with Aaron Paul. Like that's just another level of cool. But like I am such a storyteller that like to be a part of somebody's story they're crafting is so exciting. To know if they choose to talk to me or this or that, they are like making a decision to then see my character and see what I brought to this game. And I just feel very blessed to do that. And Waterboy, I guess, is just an awkward guy, and I am awkward, and I think that's what drew them to me. So it was a perfect pairing.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, it's very fortunate that this is a virtual meeting because, like Waterboy, my hands get sweaty whenever I interview people. So, I'm resonating with him very hard right now. And, I could totally relate to where he's coming from for sure.
No handshakes. No handshakes.
Fist bumps and then like dripping water.
Just the water particulate everywhere. I think what's so great about Dispatch is it's such a unique take on the superhero genre. I love Fall from Grace stories, seeing Robert Robertson fall and then having Blonze Blazer come in and offer this chance at finding a new way to make an impact on the world, but an organization that rehabilitates supervillains as heroes and then dispatches them for for errands around the city is such a cool idea. And then of course once you get inside the office, it's Pee-wee's Playhouse on LSD. Like it's just absolute madness inside, and I love the breadth of characters and the powers and the personalities and things like that. So I came as a fan first and said I want to know everything about this. How does it work? And then in just talking about it, they realized they had a hero that needed to sound a certain way, but that also could be an absolute upside down awkward mess, and that I guess I satisfied that for them.
And but I do have a question though. I'm curious to know, do you feel like you are the perfect counter to Flambae?
Oh.
I think I very well could be. And I don't have flying.
You're in this guy.
So I'm
confident.
I have to jump on Sonar's back or something. Me with riding on Sonar could be the counter to Flambae because I can't fly around. To my knowledge, I don't think I fly.
To my knowledge,
that's a lot of vomit if you're going to be flying.
Yeah, maybe I could hydro pump myself.
There we go.
Air, just a constant stream of water.
It's kind of hot.
That's just called diarrhea.
That's just diarrhea.
That's to balance it out. The diarrhea and the bump thing.
So how would Flambae deal with that? Because I know in the opening I could have thrown water on you, but I chose to throw alcohol.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I thought that would help supercharge you, but it kind of backfired, pun intended. So I'm curious to know how you would deal with someone like Waterboy. How would you handle that?
What, him attacking me or just being buddies or what?
Yeah,
How do you deal with bitches?
Yeah, how do you deal with it?
for sure. Yeah, I guess both.
What, fighting?
Yeah, fighting first, and then what if you want to be friends?
It's tough because he's water, I'm fire, so it's kind of neutral, right? We neutralize each other. So maybe I can try to burn him before he see me coming, so he can't put himself
Turn
out.
him into steam.
Turn you into steam.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I can
Oh,
do
there
that.
you go. Yeah.
Beam boy.
I could not use fire. I can like drop a piano on him like Looney Tunes. That's
Yeah,
not-
don't even use your power.
don't even use my
Oh, sure. Yeah. Subvert the
because no
expectation.
one
there. I
looks
like
up
it.
anymore.
Only
No
the
one
clues.
looks up.
We're too busy on our phones.
Exactly.
Great.
Grand piano. You're an accordion. I win.
I like it. That's a good approach. Good
Very
approach.
Who Framed Roger
Thank you.
Rabbit.
Yeah, and so referring to kind of a comment you made, Travis, about the way that it's such a unique take on the superhero genre. I feel like, that's a kind of a subgenre, a topic that is sort of, hungry for original ideas right now in a way. Because, I feel like there's a lot of discussion about superhero fatigue and things like that. But this totally, sidesteps that and gives a really fresh perspective. And it does it through really authentic, genuine, dialogue and conversations. And as a performer for you, coming into a role like this, what kind of experiences from your life do you pull on to really bring that relatable authenticity to a character that's literally not from this world, like Phenomaman?
Yeah, it's hard to say that I could pull from my life anything that would relate to somebody that could fly, have super strength, have that amazing stash. But he doesn't understand the human race very well. Emotions confuse him. Other people confound him. So I think, you can always pull back to, I don't know, let's say middle school, where you're trying to figure out the opposite sex or figure out what's funny or trying not to get in trouble or make friends. And I think a lot of that stuff applies. He's very much like a prepubescent teen in a lot of ways. He just happens to be, 6'6" and 300 pounds of flying muscle. So I think that's the fun part of playing him. But, we all have a little bit of that in us somewhere.
Yeah, I guess same question to you, Joel. Do you really pull on those middle school awkwardness for Waterboy? Because that feels like a really easy comparison to make there.
Yeah, it's definitely only middle school awkwardness.
Yeah, definitely.
Did not continue after
No,
that in
yeah.
any way, shape, or form. It's just like I figured it all out in middle school, thankfully. So now I'm a perfect guy. So
I'm a perfect I'm perfect human.
it's actually I have to pull pretty hard, because I'm like, I don't understand any of
Perfection.
That. Like, I'm perfection.
Yeah.
But I think I'm always pulling from just discomfort as an emotion when I'm making stuff and improvising. It's the best way to get a laugh. It's the best way to get empathy because we all experience it. Being uncomfortable in your skin is part of the human experience that we all confront at one point, and then we think we did it, and then it comes back. And I think just pulling from that feeling of like, there's something here that's there's a beautiful statue in me. There's just a lot of gunk on it.
Oh, that was,
I think
that
water-
was
Yeah, what the
gorgeous.
phrase?
Yeah,
Is that the original?
Jeez.
Or is
I just
that-
made that up.
Poet.
Come on.
Carve it into marble.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, you can coin that.
Yep.
For freelance, as a character that is, really embracing or doing your best to embrace the hero mentality, what do you think stands out as your most heroic accomplishment thus far?
Most heroic accomplishment. I don't know, compromise, I guess, He don't always get his way. So learning, do not be as stubborn all the time. Conversation, communicating. Communicating is his biggest superpower, I guess, or the hardest one to achieve. That was unattainable, but it's growth throughout the game. Everybody goes through an arc. And so, yeah, maybe just collaborating. That's that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably hard for everyone, like you mentioned. Yeah. For for a game like this that is a very narrative driven game that does have branching, narrative points. I've played a lot of adventure games, a lot of games that, the developers at AdHoc have worked on in the past. But this one is different because there are no sections where you explore the world freely. There's no navigation, exploration, collecting items in the environment. It's purely, gameplay and interactive cutscene is sort of the format. And from your perspective as a performer, how does that kind of change your relationship to a character, knowing that, it's going to be very like, strict pacing, I guess, in a way. You're going to have very consistent pacing with the way the game plays out for a player.
I think that gives me great confidence because this is going to be well paced and edited like a show or a movie. There's no fat, there's no idle lines where you're standing around in the world and you have to say hello 50 different ways, And I think it is lean and it gets rid of that fat that a lot of video games have, especially somebody like me who I feel guiltier and guiltier about playing video games the older I get. And it's nice to have a package that's like, oh, there's no fat on this. I'm just getting a story told to me. I'm making decisions. The gameplay is satisfying when it does come up, but it's not like I feel like in some of those old games you mentioned, like they grind to a halt when you have to like meander your character around.
Oh, yeah. If you get stuck, you can't find the key in the cupboard behind the bookshelf under a blanket, or yeah.
Exactly. And I think we saw a decade-long trend of bigger, more stuff in games. And I think the common sentiment I see now is we went too far, and like we need games that are a condensed package that you could sit and play in 8 to 10 hours and just like, you know, have somebody craft you an experience rather than telling you to make it yourself, like have fun with these building blocks, like that's what a lot of games feel like Minecraft, like just do it.
Yeah, the guys at AdHoc are great. They know exactly what they want in a scene. They also have great previs materials, so there's either a storyboard or some sort of reference art to let you know where the character is, so you have a very solid mental picture in your mind of what the character is, how he's behaving. Is he hurried? Is he rushed? Is he trying to be, loud? Is he getting somebody's attention? Is he hiding? And there can be times where you get into a booth and there's just lines and you're just reading it. It could be anywhere. You could be on a horse. You could be in the middle of a frozen lake. You have no idea. But they are so good at painting a picture themselves and sharing that so that you can, put it through your particular artistic instrument and have it come out, how it does.
Yeah, in the booth, it's cool to see. It's like you're watching it as you're doing it. So it's super easy as an actor to be able to like do it justice because it's in front of you. Like I've never done it where it's that blind before, This is my first time, so I have no frame of reference, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Game is wonderful.
Great questions, man. Thank you.
All right, now for the final batch of interviews, we have another 3-person room, and this included Thot Squad, who voices Prism, Alanah Pearce, who voices Malevola, and Mayanna Berrin, who voices Coupe. Go ahead and enjoy, and thank you for watching.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic. I guess first, would you three mind just telling me a little bit about, from each of your own perspectives, what drew you to the project and your particular character?
Yeah. Hi. Okay. So yeah, what drew me to the project was I got an email about this game and like a little bit of information about it. And because the way that I am famous is through the internet, I immediately thought it was a scam. And I said, and so then, did a little bit more research, found out it was legit, had a couple, video conversations, and the answer immediately this. I was like, please, like the whole time I was like, please be real, please be real, please be real, please be real. And it was real. And so that's how I got here. And then for the character, for Prism, I don't care attitude, and I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna say what I want. I'm gonna do what I want when I want to do it. And that's like a dream for me to be able to do. And so I was just like living my best life playing her.
For me specifically, the team reached out, and I obviously had known about AdHoc since the studio was announced, and being, so many ex-Telltale staff members, I was just immediately very, very excited. Like, I was excited to see what the studio was working on regardless, then very excited to potentially have any involvement. There's no way that I would have said anything other than yes. It's such a talented, experienced team who've made so many incredible games that have just inspired so many people. So no brainer. I would have done anything. I would have probably like done their coffee orders. You know what I mean? Like I'm down. But Malevola specifically is like a cherry on top of that, and that it's very fun for a myriad of reasons. But my favorite thing to get to do is just like yell insults at people. It's like really, I've never played a character where I get to do that before. She's very self-assured, very confident. She's cool, like just so cool in my opinion. And she's hot. So it was like, again, I was on board no matter what. And then I just think she's the coolest thing in the world. So it's like just a dream come true, 100%.
Absolutely. I think that like I was doing Scratch for the studio, and as I was helping on that side of things, I was just like so intrigued, and I've wanted to work in games for so long, and I was like, oh man, if I could just like be inside this thing, that would be really cool. And then I was able to apply and do a writing test for it, and so then I got to be on the writing side of things. And then after having done Scratch with them, they asked if I wanted to read for Coupe, and so after reading for Coupe and then getting to be on the writing side, it was like I get to be inside of it in this really lovely way. And so it was so exciting to, one, write amazing dialogue for these folks, and then two, to like be a part of that on both sides of the screen and things. It was just very rewarding across the board.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you bring that up, because I know for all three of you, you have very creative backgrounds with a lot of things in, writing, production, and being on the sort of in the background and behind the scenes on a lot of other projects. And I'm curious, what does that experience bring for a role where you are, playing a character that maybe you didn't write yourself, or a character that maybe isn't like you as a person personally? Does your background in writing, does it change the way you approach things? Does it help? Does it hinder? What is that like?
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that like it feels like a little cheat when you are able to go like, this line feels good for this character, but it also it can be a bit of a hindrance, because it's like, okay, well, let me like not just think about like what is fun for me to say, but like what feels realistic, or what feels like a thing that makes sense for the character to say. And so like finding voices, like what is Prism's take on this joke, what is Malevola's take on this joke, and like separating not just like what I think is funny, but like what would Malevola think is funny, what's going to sound awesome for Alanah to say, like all of those things like factor into it as you're working on it. So it's a very like Ouroboros process. It's very snake eating its own tail, but at the end of it, I think comes out of it like really lovely organic performances where you guys bring so much of yourselves to the characters, and I think that ultimately is the thing that is resonating with the players so much. Absolutely.
For a game like this, that has branching narratives, that has branching paths, characters that will come in and out of the focus like that may get cut from the team. As a performer, is that change the way you approach things, where you feel like maybe, a line that is almost like a throwaway whenever you first read it in the script, maybe the last impression that player has of you? Does that change the way that you kind of see your personality coming through in the performance?
I never thought about it. And
That's
now
a really good question.
Man. I think the VO directors were so wonderful and so fun to work with that they make sure that you're really focused on the specific line that you're delivering at the time, and that you don't get worried about stuff like that, because that's when your performance totally falls apart. So it's very much about like feeling what that character is feeling at the exact time when they said it, rather than thinking about even the context of a player, to be totally honest. Like it's such a weird thing. You have to try and kind of make it as small as you can, and as like, in the world as you can, so that you don't get accidentally, because it really can happen, like pieces of the like bits of insecurity that will come with that kind of thing potentially in that line, because Malevola is not going to be insecure if it's the last time that somebody speaks to her. Alanah might, but like you have to be like, okay, well, but I'm playing the hardcore demon lady, so I can't think about those two things. So they did a really, really good job with like keeping us in the moment with the direction. And it's definitely a challenge of an episodic game where sometimes like you jump around episodes like totally out of order, so they have to give you all the context. But yeah, the team did such a good job of really grounding that and making it comfortable that thankfully I didn't think about that, but now I am.
It's like the game is so real. Like if you take out the superpowers part of it, it's so this is my word of the day, authentic in the way people talk to each other. So just like if we're having a conversation, I'm not like, this could be the last words I ever say to this person. It's just like, oh, I'm recording this. Like, yeah, we're just talking.
We're all super excited to like watch people play it and see the choices they make.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I can't wait to watch that stuff. I think especially because it's episodic, it's going to be so fun to see how people react to the different choices for sure.
And these types of games, seeing the stats after each episode is always one of my favorite parts.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm in the bottom 10% of a choice. I find it
Yes.
so fascinating because I'm like, oh, how can 90% of people have done the opposite? Like, that's
Am I a dick?
crazy.
Or am I awesome?
Yeah.
Why is everybody
Right.
else not
Evil.
awesome? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun part of them for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And for what you mentioned, Thought about the authenticity. This is a game where my wife and I played through all 4 episodes together. She is not a gamer at all, but something like this she could be engaged in and interested in, from the beginning all the way through. And I think it's interesting because the gameplay elements, the parts where you're dispatching heroes, is not the majority of the game. It's maybe not even 50% of the game. It's mostly conversations, like you've mentioned. And I find that so interesting because even other adventure games, even other games that a lot of this team has worked on in the past, had exploration, had gameplay, had moments where you had to find things in the environment to solve a puzzle. This game mostly gets rid of that. And so I'm curious from your perspective, it allows for better pacing in the dialogue and the delivery of the characters and the development. And so what is that like for you as a performer, knowing that the pacing is going to be very consistent? Have you played the game yourself? How do you think it came through?
Yeah. I am a cartoon person, an animation person, and not necessarily a gamer. The games I play them casually, diner dash. And so,
Farmville, no.
okay. And so playing this game, and it's like I'm watching a cartoon, but it's like, oh, but I'm in it. Like, not me like voicing Prism, but like I'm in the moment, I'm making decisions. And so like it engage. I've played the first episode like 4 times already because I wanted to see like what happens if I do different things. And so being able to do that and to see that, it's so good. It's so good. And it's engaging, just like you said, for you and your wife, for people of different interests. Do you like animation? Do you like gaming? Do you like puzzle games? Like, it's all in there.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, did you drop him off the roof?
Yes, I did once.
I did not.
Well, I've intentionally not.
Oh, right. You
Oh, that's
played it.
right.
So I've intentionally not played it because I'm waiting for it to come out and I want to stream it. So I'm going to stream each episode with my community, which I'm very excited to do. Especially because like they might make different choices and stuff. Like I'm really looking forward to the community aspect of this game. But it does mean there's stuff I don't know. Like that's because when you're recording, like I know about Malevola's relationships and things that she does or things that maybe happen to her, but there's tons of stuff that happens in the story that I don't know anything about. It's gonna be totally fresh for me too. And I'll be like, wait, they said that about me? Like I'm really looking forward to it. And it's hard, like I have the code in my inbox and being like, no, I'm not gonna touch it yet because I want to stream it and I think it'd be a really fun game to stream. So I'm like trying not to do that.
You have 6 days.
Yeah, I want to so bad.
Make it. You can make it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I think you're going to particularly love it, Alanah. I think it's a game you're really going to have a fun time streaming. And there's some wild stuff that goes on, especially episode 4. There's
episode 4 is crazy.
Really looking forward.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So nice meeting you.